Hello, everyone. I hope you're able to hear me well. I actually had to kind of modify the setup a little bit because the camera that I usually use to do these live streams, um, it doesn't want to connect right now, and I'm just a little too excited to like try to make it work. Hopefully, it sounds well. If not, I'll just delete this in the morning anyway. Like there's not many people that watch at this hour at all, so it's all good. Hopefully, the audio is good. Hopefully, you can see me well. It seems to be going well so far. Hey guys, it's me again, Alvaro Cortez Jr., aka Lance Danger, bringing in the new year with the first live stream of the year. And just to like cut right to the chase about this live stream, it's not going to be that long. I just wanted to like make a small announcement. Well, it's a big announcement to me. I mean, like I'm used to having my camera set up somewhere else. Like it was a big day today, actually. The Long Road to Hell premiered today. Well, technically yesterday. The first episode of the 100 Days of Making Comics. I've been getting a lot of great feedback from people that watched it. It's been mostly like in private conversations from people that has watched it and whatnot. And so far people have really liked it from the people that have seen it. Um, it's the video before this one in case you want to check it out later on as well. It's the video series where I'm going to be documenting the 100 days of making comics, more specifically Hell Beneath You, which is the horror comic that I want to hopefully get out by the end of the year. Pretty much showing the process of starting from scratch, like from plot points to character designs to character motivations and whatnot. Hopefully, you'll all check that out. I did make its own dedicated playlist as well, so you can check out the original trailers that I had done for the this video series as well. And now to talk about the main thing about this live stream. The Cannon Girl, I finished production on the strips for the rest of season one, which is a huge, huge deal because I don't have to worry about, doing the strip either on the same day or the day before and having to do it at the same time as other strips as well. Now that I have that buffer, I can concentrate on doing other strips so that hopefully I can knock them out at a good pace this year. So that was definitely a huge, huge advancement and huge, huge news for myself at least. The Cannon Girl, just to like give a little bit of perspective, a little bit of context to that strip. It's a strip that I started doing around 2008, 2009. This was after I had already started putting out Nevermind, Warlord, and even Wepa Mani Wepito had come out actually before that as well. I think I believe I was about to end Wepa Mani Wepito that first season, so I kind of wanted to like do something else, and I was actually reading a lot of philosophical stuff, especially from Bruce Lee. And I have always liked philosophy, especially Asian philosophy. I read a lot of Asian philosophy growing up. In Puerto Rico, they used to sell these martial arts magazines called Dojo that they would import from Spain. They would have like interviews with martial artists, cinematic martial artists as well. And they would have posters of like Bruce Lee and Van Damme and Jet Li and all that good stuff. And every now and then, well, every issue really, they would put in like all these ancient Asian philosophies in those issues, and it would totally blow my mind. And I kind of wanted to like instill some of that philosophy in my own strips as well, but I didn't really have a way to do it. So that's pretty much what became the Canon Girl. Basically, that's my experimental strip where I kind of explore my more philosophical, kind of brainy, spiritual side. And actually, I used to simultaneously publish it in English and in Spanish. I might do a Spanish edition later on, but let me see how the English edition does first. The strips have been well received so far. The Truthful Comics edition, which is essentially the remake of the original strips. As I've said before, like with many other projects that I have, the Canon Girl, the original pages, at least for the first two seasons, were lost due to different acts of God, if you want to call it that, or just negligence on my part of not saving it properly into different places and different um, flash drives or clouds and whatnot. So I basically have to start doing them from scratch if I wanted to publish them and a physical copy as well. Because as I mentioned before, if I would do it just straight from the online images, it's going to come out extremely blurry and low quality, low resolution, and I don't want to put stuff out there purposely that looks bad. I want to like have some sort of standard for what I put down, even if it is something as experimental as this strip. I don't want to like use that as an excuse or something to not try and put the best of me out there. If that makes any sense, I guess. So um the Kind Girl was a strip. The remake was supposed to have ended last year. I should have been on season two, but once again, COVID really affected everything. A lot of personal stuff, as most of you know as well, happened throughout the year that really set all my plans upside down. So eventually when I started re-uploading the Cannon Girl, I started doing it with Nevermind season two, and then on Saturdays, I was also doing Wepa Mani Wepito and Stupid the Cat. So all of a sudden, I was doing four strips over the weekend, and towards the end of the year last year, I decided to just kind of take a few steps back to start this year off, mostly to kind of plant my feet firmly on the ground and not burn myself out by doing, excuse me, too many projects at the same time, because that's how sometimes you burn yourself out as well. So I decided to just take a step back and just uh, upload these strips one at a time, you know. Wepamani Wepita, since that one was the one that had the most strips out already and is the closest to finishing, that one is going to be updating on Saturdays. And when that one ends, then Stupid the Cat will resume its updates. And on Sundays, the same case. The Cannon Girl was more advanced than Nevermind Season 2. So I'm going to finish The Cannon Girl first and then continue with Nevermind Season 2. Now, I actually finished The Cannon Girl ahead of schedule, which is fantastic news because that now gives me the flexibility of sending the files to the printers at a timely manner so that I can go ahead and have that file printed out for the physical copy around the same time that the final strip goes online when it updates on its Facebook page and on the website and on the duck and the various platforms that it updates. So that's actually very exciting news because now I can go ahead and concentrate on like Whipamani Whipito, which is the other one that's just about to finish production as well. Hopefully I'll be able to finish that one by next week, knock that one out as well. And then I can just slowly start working on Nevermind Season 2, finish updating Stupid the Cat, and also start working on Season 2 of Stupid the Cat, and also finished doing the big flavor, which is the web comic that I was going to publish when Stupid the Cat finished updating as well. So finishing the Canon Girl um, earlier than expected in terms of production is really, really huge news for me. Um, I just had like that sudden burst of inspiration, I guess. I just couldn't stop illustrating when I was doing the Cannon Girl over the last 2 days. And I've learned that when I kind of get into that zone, to just go with it because it doesn't happen that often. Even back when I was younger, it wouldn't happen that often that I would want to just keep drawing, drawing, and drawing. Even though when I was younger, I could keep drawing for long periods of time, even if I didn't feel the inspiration, but just feeling that sense of I want to make this and I want to complete this. So, you know, having that inspiration to like keep doing it, I just didn't stop myself, and I was able to finish production on those strips. So strips number 7 through 12 are already done. I have that huge buffer in that sense. That's 5 weeks of buffer for the web comic. So that is definitely huge news. And again, it gives me time to finish doing the knickknacks so I can send it to the publishers to have that published as well. And hopefully have the physical copy available by the time the final strip comes out online. Um, the inspiration overtook me so badly that I actually did the cover as well for the physical copy of the comic as well. And again, like it's very rare that something like that happens lately, but you just have to go with it sometimes. And I definitely just took the ball and kept running because you never know when that kind of burst of inspiration is going to happen again. So I am going to be working on other stuff at the same time. Like it's kind of a shame that I was able to finish this like yesterday after I stopped recording the 100 days of making comics because this would have been something kind of cool to yes show off in one of those video segments as well that I was actually able to finish production on the Cannon Girl and actually even did the cover for the comic as well, the physical copy. And I just kind of want to show you guys like the cover reveal and also show you the strips that I finished as well. It's very interesting to see like the difference between the original and the newer version of it because the original, if you've seen it, is very well. I can show it to you guys also. Like it's very, like I said, experimental, very sketchy, very loose. And the newer ones is a lot more streamlined, a lot more slick, but it still kind of has that sketchy vibe to it as well. So let me just go ahead and do the reveal of the strips and the cover as well. Right, so that is strip number 7. And actually, let me just look for strip number 6. I believe strip number 6 isn't out yet either. Yes, one moment. Now I know this is exciting stuff. Yeah, strip number 6 hasn't come out yet, so I actually have strips number 6 through 12 already done for the Cannon Girl. Right, so this is strip number 6, as you can see. And let me just go ahead and show you guys strip number 7 again. Right, there is strip number 8. Strip number 9. Here's strip number 10. And again, like since they are strips and they don't require that much detail, like something like, for example, Warlord or even Nevermind to an extent. Like I'm fortunate enough to like do these relatively quickly compared to other comics that I illustrate. There's strip number 11. This is actually one of my favorites, I have to admit. Um, I didn't really think much of it originally when I first made this one, outside of the message, of course, but I actually really like how the illustration came out in this one, if I say so myself. And here is strip number 12. So this is the finale for season 1. I also kind of like actually how this one came out compared to the original. And now to show you guys the cover reveal for the printed edition that will hopefully be coming out later this year. And yes, make that one bigger. So yeah, that is going to be the cover for the Cannon Girl Season 1 Truthful Comics edition. And all I have to do really is like more editorial stuff. I have to just kind of mainly do like the inside cover and the inside back cover and pretty much turn everything in the interior pages to grayscale because something that I found out with Stupid the Cat, even though it's a mini comic, if I print it in color, it's going to be almost as expensive as a full size traditional comic. And I want things to be a little easier on the pocket and a little easier on the wallet of people that may be interested in purchasing one of these mini comics. So for the time being, I am going to turn it into grayscale so it can be sold in black and white for less money. I'm actually going to do that with Stupid the Cat as well. I'm going to do a black and white version of the comic as well so that it's not as costly. And later on, if I decide to do like a perfect edition or something like that, or a special edition of Stupid the Cat and the Cannon Girl, I can just probably publish trades of them in the original color and whatnot, kind of like Japan does with their mangas, where they publish like their Tobokens in black and white. Tobokens being the manga volumes that we're all familiar with. And then later on, when if it's successful, they'll do like the perfect editions where they'll do the trades in the original size that the pages came out in the manga magazine. And if there were colored pages, they'll print that specific pages in color as well. So that's what I'll do. Like I'll publish them in black and white mini comics, but if there's enough people that ask me to do these comics in full size comics and in color as well, then I'll do that leap into full size and color, in the form of a trade paperback for these particular issues of like the Cannon Girl and also Stupid the Cat. Nevermind has always been in black and white and it will stay in black and white. So that really won't be much of a hassle. But with stuff like this, stuff like also maybe the big flavor when I do that, it's definitely going to, I'll have to like have a lot of things into consideration with that. And the funny thing is that I also had put up the blog the other day for the Canon Girl, specifically for the Canon Girl goals for 2021. Well, half of the goal is already reached, which is I finished production on season one, and I'm already prepping things so it can be sent to the printers to have a physical copy of the comic already published by the time the final script comes out. So hopefully people will look forward to it. Quite a few people still like the Cannon Girl. There's one or two of the original readers that still check it out and still read the remakes of it. I've been getting a handful of new readers as well for this strip, which always makes me happy because the goal for this um, web strip has always been to, kind of bring more positivity and make people think as well. Like, she's called the Cannon Girl because she just breaks through expectations. Shoots down those walls and just makes you kind of think and not be too afraid to be a little vulnerable, even if it's with yourself. A cynic may even say that that's like, um, she's like my feminine side or whatever. And to give like a little bit more backstory to the web strip, if you haven't read it before, it's about this character called Lizbeth and pretty much her interactions with the people around her and just kind of like her positive outlook at life, even when some of the people close to her don't understand why she's so positive all the time. They appreciate that at least they have that constant positivity in their lives as well. I've been thinking about making an original graphic novel with an actual uh, story arc with these characters. Um, I might actually do it. It won't be this year if I do decide to do it because Hell Beneath You alone is going to take up a lot of time. But I'm also doing the Fred Peterson The Mighty Warlord Truthful Comics edition as well, which I hope to also publish by the end of the year, at the very least, the prologue. And if not, I'm also debating whether if I'm going to release the Warlord Truthful Comics edition as individual floppy comics, or if I'm just going to um, publish them as like manga style volumes as well. I guess I'll probably put a poll up soon enough when I'm about ready to, get more pages done for the comic and, take it from there, I guess. But yeah, this is a celebration because also I wanted to aim for publishing four mini comics this year. The four of them, of course, being the Canon Girl Truthful Comics Edition Season 1, Nevermind Season 2 Truthful Comics Edition, Wepa Mani Wepito, Season 1 Truthful Comics Edition. And the fourth one, I'm kind of like up in the air of which one I would do. It could be the Big Flavor, or it could be like the Canon Girl Season 2. Or who knows, maybe all five will go up this year. Hopefully, that would actually be wonderful. But again, I have to pace myself and not put too much pressure on myself. And I have to also keep physically continue getting better as well. Um, since I did have like a huge sinus infection towards the end of the year, I wasn't really able to do the final weeks of physical therapy that I was supposed to take, and then visit my orthopedist to make sure that my shoulders have gotten better. In terms of reach and rotation and uh, movement, my shoulders have definitely improved from how they were at this point last year, even with the tear. The only thing that I needed to do, according to the physical therapist, was pretty much just build up my strength again and build up the muscles around the shoulders. So hopefully by the end of this week and next week, I'll start working out more often again and going to the physical therapies and, just become healthy again so I can keep making more comics. The funny thing is that the Cannon Girl was actually very popular in Puerto Rico when I first started publishing her. There is actually a video in my YouTube channel that with permission of this person, of this creator, um, Rigo Scorpimenes, of a comic book activity from 2010, I believe, or 2009. It was done in a mall in Puerto Rico where a lot of comic book creators got together. We had our own little tables and we were selling comics and prints and talking with just the people in the mall. And there was even a stage in the middle of the mall. And some of us kind of gave a brief talk about what we would be doing with our projects. I actually even spoke on stage as well. It was hilarious because I actually got a very good round of applause after I stopped talking, and I was the only one that really kind of got like a round of applause at the end. So, yeah, my colleagues were making fun of me for months after that. But I digress. There is a short video of myself and my other colleagues and during that activity. And there was one strip in particular from the Canon Girl that I actually printed out to just, give away. And one of the sponsors of that comic book activity in the mall was this small art shop. And when they saw the printout of that strip, like the owner of that art shop was so enamored by it that she actually asked permission to hang that strip in the on the wall of the art store. And I was like, oh, like, yeah, it's fine by me. Like, that is so crazy to actually have a strip that you did actually be hanging in an art store. And let me just kind of look up that strip real quick. And again, I'll show the original one and the remake so you guys can kind of see the difference between the original and the ones that are coming out now. Alright, let me just stop sharing here for a second. Let me just go now back to right. You have to admit I've been getting better at sharing stuff. Okay, so here is the strip that I actually had printed out back then. Like this was actually the most popular strip of the Cannon Girl back then. Like I think this was the strip that even when season two and eventually season three came out, this strip was pretty much the one that people still was kind of talking about. And of course, like I kind of recognized the fact that a lot of people really, really liked this one in particular. So I went ahead and printed that one out to just give away for free at that activity. And it ended up hanging at a art shop. That's pretty freaking cool, if I do say so myself. And now let me just kind of show you guys the new version of it. Let's go here. Now this is kind of the new version of it. Again, people actually really, really like this one as well. It probably is the most popular strip of the remake as well. Because again, like I said, like the focus is more on the story and the philosophy itself, and not so much on the artwork. So I allow myself to be a lot more experimental as I guess I can get away with. Let's see. Right, and there it is. There is the remake. Like, I'm actually pretty excited to make a physical copy of this version of the Canon Girl. Like, there were original plans to publish the original ones as well, but as you know by now, that wasn't possible with all the stuff that had happened. So it's almost in a way like coming full circle in a way. Let me just kind of put up the cover for the Truthful Comics edition again. Like I'm going to be signing off in the next few minutes. Again, I was just so excited I wanted to like share this with you guys. So, what I've been planning to do if I ever did do a graphic novel of an original story with the Cannon Girl and the other characters, it would be kind of like a bit of a romance comic, but kind of experimental. I guess something kind of in the vein of um let's see, kind of like in the vein of Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, but without the sci-fi really. Or something like along the lines of 500 Days of Summer, but not be too snarky. I really don't know. Just something like a little bit in between in that sense. Like part of me that's kind of held back from doing it is because of the whole manic pixie trope or whatever of the female character that's like this hyper positive character that changes the life of the male lead or whatever. And the thing is that people really kind of look more into things than what it actually is. Like I have definitely seen cases, and this is purely anecdotal. I have seen cases of friends that male friends that are kind of like living their life kind of, just going along with the motions, not really taking any risks, always being very safe, and I don't know. And then they'll meet this one person that kind of dares them to be more than what they actually are, and eventually they would gain like more self-confidence while being with this person, and they would totally change. And even if the relationship doesn't work out in the end, they would always definitely come out a better person out of that relationship. So it is totally plausible, and the same like the other way around as well. Like there's definitely I've had female friends that have led like kind of like that safe life as well until they meet that one guy that kind of dares them to think out of the box and be more out there as well. So if I ever did like a whole graphic novel with an actual storyline, it would be kind of like the story of how she encountered her boyfriend in the strips, which he only appears like maybe once or twice in the strips. I don't get like too personal in the lives of these characters in this particular comic because again, like the message is what carries the strip rather than like a linear story or the characterizations themselves. Like every character is unique in this story, but it's not. It kind of plays off more of the philosophical angle than like an interpersonal angle, if that makes sense. Kind of like, for example, there's one strip that she's with her best friend. Let me just go ahead and pull that one up real quick. Right, like for example, Lisbeth is here with her best friend, and they're talking about envy and how um, Mirna, which is her best friend, absolutely hates envious people, and she has like a more rough tone. Um, Back in the day, you could even say that she's very tomboyish, and especially in the way that she expresses herself. But then Lisbeth kind of like calms her down and talks about her philosophy of how envy is just another way of people showing their admiration for you. So the characters basically exist to kind of prop up the message of the philosophy, really. So it would be kind of interesting to do a graphic novel with an actual linear story that delves deeper into the lives of these characters. And again, like I haven't put up that strip yet. Like this one is actually one of the more popular strips, the one where her boyfriend first appears. Let me pull that one up real quickly as well. I sure hope in the replay that people can actually hear me talking. Right, and this is here in the strip where her boyfriend is being presented, and I actually showed you guys real quickly the remake of this actual strip. Like, let me just go ahead and show you guys the remake as well again. Here we go. So if I ever do a graphic novel of the Cannon Girl, it would definitely um, be based around these two characters, her and her boyfriend, and of course the other characters that appear throughout the seasons, her younger brother and her best friend, and perhaps introducing other characters as well. But if I do that graphic novel, it would have to be like way further into the future. And also, if people actually want to see a deeper story about Lisbeth and the characters in her life as well. Because again, aside from Fred Peterson, the Mighty Warlord being like the main comic I want to get out there, there are other comics that I would like to put out there as well, like for example, Hell Beneath You, which of course is a mini series. Like, I'm just going to do like, aside from Warlord, I'm just going to do like mini series, one shots, specials, and whatnot, just to kind of either complement Warlord or just something to give myself to um not keep myself trapped in one specific thing and be able to experiment and spread my creativity in other ways as well, which is why I'm doing something that's so radically different from what I put out there so far, like a horror story like Hell Beneath You, even though it's kind of like a drama slash psychological horror. Like, again, like I've mentioned this before in blogs, and I've mentioned this and I mentioned this quite a few times in the Long Road to Hell video series of the 100 Days of Making Comics. Hell Beneath You really takes a lot of inspiration from movies like Pet Cemetery and Hereditary. Like, that's pretty much like the mix of what the story is. It's basically my own version of Pet Cemetery mixed with Hereditary in a sense. Not to give away too much about the plot, about the actual story. There are other horror movie elements that contribute to this story as well, like Chud and Halloween 3 Season of the Witch. Basically taking inspiration from all of my favorite horror movies and horror novels and just doing this 8 issue love letter to all of those horror movies that I grew up watching with my family and all these horror novels that I grew up reading and that I still read today as well. So if I actually do something like a graphic novel for the Cannon Girl, it would have to be after that. And hopefully, if things go well, Hell Beneath You would be published by the end of this year, going into 2023. So, at the minimum, there wouldn't be a Cannon Girl graphic novel until 2023 or 2024. And before that, there's a lot of other miniseries that I would like to try to do as well. There are miniseries like Clown, Rogue Assassin that I would like to probably do a Truthful Comics edition as well. But that I would have to talk with my best friend about it. Even though he had gifted me the characters that appear in the webcomic, um, I would like to just talk to him about the logistics of if I do make a printed version of that miniseries, like um, how the business aspect would be, so to speak. And of course, there's the Funny Bone Rage of the Lucky 13. I would like to adapt that into a comic book as well. There are other projects that I haven't mentioned yet, but that I would love to do. Um, there is one story in particular of Nevermind that I actually would like to do into a graphic novel, which I have mentioned before. So after Hell Beneath You, I think that's the next thing I'm going to tackle. And it's not going to be a mini series and floppies. That's just going to be a straight up graphic novel. That story of Nevermind. So again, it would probably be a long time before I do a Canon Girl graphic novel, unless I actually have the resources to hire a creative team to help me with the production of a graphic novel. In other words, if I'm able to pay an artist to do the artwork for me instead, and I just stay on as the writer. I would actually love to do that one time to just write a comic and have someone else illustrate it for me. Like there is this one shot for the Fabulous Rocker, which is like one of the more popular characters from Fred Peterson, the Mighty Warlord. I am crazy to do a one shot with that character. But again, I have so much on the table right now that the only way that I would be able to do it is to hire someone to do it. And I would love to be able to have the resources to hire other people to help me out with the art aspect of everything. Because writing, I can knock out a script relatively fast, or at the very least, faster than I can illustrate. The life of an independent creator, man. You really have to love comics to be able to do all this stuff, man. You really, really do. Anyway, I think I'm just going to end the stream now. Let me just go ahead and stop sharing here real quick. Right, so yeah, big news. Production on the Canon Gold Truthful Comics Edition Season 1 has officially ended. I already am starting the transition into sending to the printers the PDF files to do an actual physical copy of the season one of the Cannon Girl Truthful Comics Edition season one. Hopefully, it'll be one of four mini comics that I'll be self publishing at the very least. Hopefully, it'll be maybe more depending on how things go. But again, I'm trying to take things at a bit of a slower pace so I'll be able to do things a little more consistently and without burning myself out creatively or physically. Anyway, that's going to be all for this first stream of 2022. If you have seen the first episode of Long Road to Hell, the making of Hell Beneath Us, or Hell Beneath Us, well, it certainly feels like that, this past 2 years that there's like Hell Beneath Us, but Hell Beneath You. I hope you have watched it and enjoyed it, and I look forward to any feedback that you may have about it. I'm also doing blogs daily on www.truthfulcomics.com, which I'm kind of starting the tradition that I started last year of posting these micro blogs talking about my goals for the rest of the years for all the properties I'm working on, whether they're self-published or, for example, Project New Wave with Manuel Carmona, which is also part of Truthful Comics. He is the co-founder of Truthful Comics and the creator and illustrator of Project New Wave. So that's a lot of fun being able to share the goals that I have for the comics that I'm making and kind of comparing it to how it came out to last year. And hopefully next year, I'll be able to compare the goals for 2023 to whatever I was able to achieve in 2022. It's kind of a way to keep myself creatively accountable for the things that I'm putting out there and the goals that I'm setting for myself as well. So you can definitely check that out. It's going to be running all the way through January. If you want to also check out the blogs I did in December of Gift Indie, there's some great interviews with indie creators that make their own comics or they do fine arts. So you can definitely check those blogs as well. Um, yeah, you can definitely do a lot of binge reading with the blogs over the last couple of months at truthfulcomics.com. And as well, on this channel, I've been trying to do a lot more content on my channel, kind of like reviving it ever since I pretty much recovered from COVID. I started doing videos again on my channel, and they've actually been fun to do, especially live streaming. I never thought I'd have this much fun doing live streams, to be honest. So, expect more live streams. I'm still going to be updating videos on Fridays. There's still going to be alternating between Enter the Danger Zone, where I'll talk about a particular comic that I liked or impacted my creativity, and also it's going to be interchanging with my podcast, the Serene Chaos podcast. Once I make those public onto Podomatic and they've gone through the early access of Patreon, I go ahead and start posting them slowly, little by little, on YouTube as well. So those will alternate on Fridays until episode 12 of the Serene Chaos podcast, where I'll take a small break from making podcasts. And I'll see what I'll do in the meantime once Serene Chaos podcast ends the first season, because on early access it's already halfway through. The last update I did was episode 5 on Podomatic and episode 4 on YouTube. So YouTube is always going to be a little bit behind on both Patreon and Podomatic and the other podcast hosting sites as well. And depending on how well it does, I'll make a second season, especially if I still have more things to say and hopefully more ways to try to inspire other people to do their own creations as well. So that's pretty much the goal for my YouTube this year. On Wednesdays, I'm going to be uploading the 14 episodes of Long Road to Hell, which will document the 100 days that I made comics, whether they were Hell Beneath You or Warlord or Nevermind, the Cannon Girl herself, the business side of making comics, the heartbreaking side of making comics. You name it, it's going to be in there, unfiltered, like the other videos were, except that this one is going to be a little bit more raw because um, this 100 days challenge was the first challenge actually where I was able to document all 100 days on video. So that's actually oddly enough a first for me, because I wasn't able to like document every single day because I would just get burnt out doing the videos daily back then. As I've mentioned before, it's like I put too much pressure on myself to post the videos that eventually it became more about making the videos than doing the comic itself. So I kind of had to like also, with the pandemic and everything that happened, I kind of had to take a step back when I was going to do one in 2019. That's when the streak ended of when I had started, doing these challenges in 2014. I tried it for the first time and I wasn't able to do the 100 days. And then from 2015 to 2018, I was able to work on comics throughout those 100 days, even if I didn't, excuse me, document every single day. but I did work on those comics, and I was able to post them and show off that I actually was working those days, even though I didn't record a video for it. So it was very challenging, but at the same time, it was easier to make these videos compared to the original ones because, like I said, I didn't put that much pressure on myself to post every single day. I was giving myself a little more leeway that at the end of the week, I'll edit the videos together, and if I didn't have time to put them together on Sundays, which is when I was doing it because I started the challenge on a Monday and would end it the week on a Sunday, and that's when I would kind of edit everything together after I would film the last segment of the video. So it was actually a lot more easier for myself and actually a lot of fun to be able to put those videos together like that, and hopefully that fun shows through, and hopefully the emotions show through. Again, I've been getting a lot of great feedback in private about the first episode of it. You can check it out. It's the previous video on this YouTube channel. It has its own playlist as well, Long Road to Hell. Every Wednesday, 14 episodes. I don't know if I'm going to be uploading any other videos on Wednesdays once that one ends, but I still have 13 more weeks to think about it. So at the very least, Fridays are guaranteed to have a video, and I am going to be posting videos every day on YouTube using the feature as well, which has been very convenient to use. I've been able to transition into the shorts feature pretty easily because, thankfully, before I started using that and it became available to every YouTuber, I actually was starting to get comfortable on TikTok. So it kind of like happened like one after the other. It's like, okay, I started a TikTok finally and starting to get the hang of it. And then suddenly the shorts feature is available to all YouTubers on YouTube. So I kind of transitioned into that. And it's crazy that some of my most viewed videos are now shorts that I released like a couple of days ago compared to videos that I released years ago. Technology, man. What can I say? Except that, I'll catch you all next time. Thank you so much for to all the people. Actually, there's been people like popping in and out of the stream more than usual actually for this hour. So that makes me happy that some people kind of popped in here and there. Um, Today I'm probably going to be uploading finally a new YouTube channel trailer as well. So hopefully be on the lookout for that. If not tomorrow, there's going to be a brand new episode of Enter the Danger Zone. And of course, next week there's going to be on Friday a new on YouTube podcast of the Serene Chaos podcast. And of course, next Wednesday is episode 2 of Long Road to Hell. Maybe sometime later today in the afternoon or maybe tomorrow, I'll live stream more of the manga practice kit as well. I have not touched the manga practice kit since the live stream I did doing the first exercises because I really want to do the exercises online. Anyway, that's going to be all for me and the first stream of 2022. I hope you all are having a great first week of the new year. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, thank you so much for your support. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you, and I hope you all have a great and safe week.